I'm finally fast enough to fight for the lead on pure pace. And I proved it this weekend. The problem was, every time I got the lead, the car found a new way to take it away. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Gabe. I've been racing for the past 4 years, only after dreaming about it for about 10 years, and now I'm deeply embedded in the motorsports community. In fact, I just released a guidebook that I wish I had when I got started about how to get into grassroots and amateur racing in the US. If you're interested, check out my website, gabeorlowitz.com. You'll get it there. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'm also on Instagram and I publish a lot there. I'm pretty active, so hope you follow along and enjoy the video. First, the engine started failing. Then the brakes stopped working. And somehow this still became one of the most important weekends of my championship. This is Mark in the white number 78 Miata. For most of the 4 years I've been racing, Mark has been one of those drivers I've just been trying to catch, but never could quite catch up to pace. But this season, something has started to click for me. I'm still racing an SSM, the slowest Miata class on track, and there were only 3 of us that entered this weekend. That means we were racing in a much larger multi-class field full of SM cars, Spec Miatas. But within our class, I finally felt like I had the pace to race Mark, not just stay near him or benefit from a mistake, but actually fight him. And in qualifying, the car felt great. I warmed up the tires and brakes, started pushing, and put down the fastest lap in my class. I was on pole. For a moment, it felt like everything was finally coming together. And then the engine started stumbling. This problem actually started at the previous race at Lime Rock. Near the end of that weekend, the car began stumbling, and by the time I got it home, it felt like I had maybe 30 horsepower. I didn't think I was going to make this race weekend at all. The injectors had just been cleaned and rebuilt before Lime Rock, but when I removed them, I found a piece of gunk inside them. I cleaned it out, reinstalled everything, and the car fired up normally. So I took the gamble and brought it to New Hampshire. And for the first part of qualifying, it worked. But after setting that pole lap, the stumbling came back. At that point, I knew I wasn't going to improve my time. I pulled into the pits and started thinking about how I was going to get the car through a race that afternoon. The injector wasn't even my only concern. At my first race weekend this year in New Hampshire, I had developed a completely separate problem. Late in the races, the car would suddenly lose brake performance into turn 3. The pedal stayed firm, I could apply full brake pressure, but the car simply wouldn't slow down the way it should. The first time it happened, I went off and lost the lead. And since then, I had deglazed the rotors and changed the brake pads. I was hoping that would fix the problem. But I had no way of knowing it for sure until I ran the same configuration again under the same conditions late in a race. And now, before I could even test the brakes, I had an engine that barely wanted to run. I pulled the injectors again, but this time I couldn't find any visible debris. I had already ordered a replacement set from Amazon, but they had been delivered to my house that day while I was already at the track, and I couldn't source another set in the paddock before the race. So I did the only thing I could think of. I removed the injectors, sprayed them with a small amount of brake cleaner, and put them back in. Some people told me that would probably be fine. Other people laughed when I heard I had done that, but somehow the car started normally again. That didn't mean I trusted it. Rain was moving in, and strangely, I was actually hoping rain would arrive. Why? Because the slower speeds might reduce the strain on the brakes, and maybe I could survive the race before the injector problem returned. Rain tires were on, questionably cleaned injectors were installed, I was on pole position, time to race. At first, things felt surprisingly normal. The grip was low, but the car was running, and I thought maybe the improvised fix had worked. But within a few laps, I could feel it. The engine was stumbling again, and I was definitely down on power. My competitors began driving away from me, and there was nothing I could do. A Spec Miata in this class makes around 100 horsepower, mine around 96 at the wheels. When you remove another 20 or 25% from that, there's nowhere to hide. Every straight becomes painfully long, every gap becomes impossible to recover. The race was over as a competition, but finishing it still mattered. So I stayed out, brought the car home, and finished 3rd out of 3. It was frustrating for sure, but now I had to figure out what was actually wrong before the next morning. After the race, I spent the next few hours diagnosing the car. I moved the injectors from cylinder to cylinder, disconnected the electrical connections one at a time, and watched to see whether the dead cylinder moved with the injector. It did, so that was actually good news. For the first time, I had isolated the problem. One injector had failed, or wasn't working. All I needed for the next morning was at least one working replacement. And I had 4 brand new injectors waiting for me at home. Problem solved, or so I thought. I arrived early the next morning with the new injectors and installed them immediately. The part number matched, they looked almost identical, and the car ran worse than it had run all weekend. The idle surged up and down, the engine stumbled, it barely made any power. Whatever these injectors were, they were completely unusable. Now I was in real trouble. The next race was approaching, and I had no working set of injectors. I started walking through the paddock asking anyone who might have a spare. Nothing. No one seemed to carry not even one extra injector. Then, at the last minute, Flat Out Motorsports, who I've rented from and worked with before, found a set. I rushed back to the car and started installing them. The seals didn't want to fit. I dropped pieces into the engine bay. The grid time kept getting closer. But somehow, I got everything together just in time. The engine started, it revved normally, and I drove straight to grid. Because of the previous day's result, I started at the back of the group. But for the first time all weekend, the engine felt healthy, and I had one of my best opening laps of the season. By the end of the first lap, I had gone from the back to the lead in my class. The car felt good and I was driving well, and I started to build a gap. This was exactly what I had been working towards. After 4 years, I wasn't just hanging on, I was leading Mark on pace. But after a few laps, I felt something similar. A subtle reduction in brake performance. Not enough to force me to back off completely, but just enough to make me think, oh no, the brake problem's still here. The day was hot and sunny, so there was no rain to reduce speeds or temperatures. But I still had a substantial lead. Then I arrived at turn 3 and hit the brake pedal at the same point I had on the previous laps. The pedal was firm, I had brake pressure, there was even a slight lockup, but the car simply did not decelerate. For the second time this season, I had taken the lead at New Hampshire and lost it because the car would not stop at turn 3. By the time I backed out of the tire wall, both of my competitors were gone. I knew I wasn't catching them. At that point, the only objective was to finish the race. I was furious. The pedal wasn't spongy, so it didn't feel like boiling fluid. I was using Hawk Blue pads, and the rotors had recently been deglazed. Was it a sticking caliper? A heat issue? Could the original rear rubber brake lines be expanding under pressure? I had theories, but I still didn't have an answer, and I had one race left. Before the final race, Mark did something incredibly generous. He lent me a spare set of front rotors. I installed them, hoping that maybe my existing rotors were the problem. The engine was finally working, the brakes had fresh rotors, I had one more opportunity to salvage the weekend. But almost immediately, I could feel the same brake fade returning. And once again, it was primarily affecting turn 3. Every other corner, the car seemed to stop normally. But at the most demanding brake zone on the track, I just couldn't trust it. Then, near the end of the race, traffic started working in my favor. Mark was caught behind a group of faster class Miatas, and suddenly, the gap began disappearing. I caught him, and somehow on the final lap, I got the lead. After the injector failure, the fake replacement injectors, the last-minute repair, the tire wall, and the disappearing brakes, I was leading again. But there was still one more trip through turn 3. I had absolutely no confidence in the car there. I had to brake super early. Mark passed me again, and that was it. Second place. On paper, the weekend does not look especially impressive. 2 third-place finishes out of 3 cars, and 1 second-place finish. But the results don't tell the full story. I proved that when the car was working, I had the pace to lead. I managed to finish all 3 races despite 2 separate mechanical problems. And those finishes protected something important, championship points. I'm now leading Mark by 15 points going into this upcoming race. He gained a significant amount on me this weekend, but simply showing up and finishing all 3 races kept me in control of the championship. That doesn't make the weekend any less frustrating, but sometimes racing is not about extracting the perfect result. Sometimes it's about limiting the damage, taking whatever points the car will give you, and making sure you're still in the fight when the next race begins. I've now installed new calipers, pads, rotors, brake fluid, along with stainless steel rear brake lines. I'm replacing enough components that, hopefully, one of them eliminates the braking problem. But there's still one major complication. This only happens late in a race into turn 3 on the New Hampshire South Oval configuration. I may not be able to reproduce it anywhere else. So even after replacing everything, I won't truly know whether it is fixed until I come back here and put the car through the same conditions again. On top of that, the injector was not completely gone either. Late in the race, I started to feel a faint hint of the same stumbling coming back, just enough to make me question whether it was truly solved or if it was starting to return under load. I've also just installed a new fuel filter fuel pump and fuel pump screen in hopes to solve the root cause of my issues. The next race is the Thompson night race. Between now and then, I've done everything I can to make this car reliable. Because for the first time, I know I have the pace. Now I just need the car to let me use it.